In this lesson, we're going to discuss correct posture and hand technique for when playing keyboard and piano. So this is really important to discuss early on and to establish good practice habits because it allows you to play with the most ease as possible, reduce any tension being built up in the body, and therefore preventing any injuries. So the first thing I want to talk about is your seat height. Basically, you want your seat to be at a height where your arm is parallel to the ground. So right now, my arm is at a nice almost 90-degree angle from the ground, and that allows me to play with the most ease as possible. If my seat was too low, for example, I would have to play like this, like leaning into it, and then your arm here and your wrist, I guess, is getting into an unnatural formation. So you just start to feel more tension here. Same thing, you'd want it to be too high, having to come down to the notes like this. And I do have an adjustable seat, but if you don't, it's absolutely fine. You may want to adjust your seat by using a cushion or just getting one that's an ideal height for you, where your feet can go firmly and stably on the ground and you form this nice parallel line. The next point is the seat distance from the keyboard. So basically, on this point of keeping this 90-degree angle, you want your elbow just ever so slightly in front of your torso. So it's not like a perfect rigid 90 degree, it's just like a general sense. So this allows me to play where I can see all of the notes in my peripheral vision very clearly. And also it allows me to access the notes with the most ease as possible. So right now I can reach all of the notes, everything is nice and within reach. If I'm too close like this, oh, I even feel claustrophobic doing this, but everything is getting tense. You can see my arms are starting to rise up. My hands are kind of like, like these little claws as well. And I'm really only like looking at this area and I can't really see the other keys that well. I mean, similarly, if I'm way too far away, like this just creates unnecessary work for myself, and why create any more work when we have to like focus on notes as well. So if you're too far away, you're going to have to lean into everything a lot, like so I'm really stretching over. So again, we don't have to do that. Let's make life easier for ourselves and just get at a nice distance. You're sitting at the edge of your chair where you can reach everything with ease. The next point is just about general posture. You want to roll your shoulders back and keep this nice, good posture as you're playing, not going into this formation. I think a lot of people can do this subconsciously, and then you can create a lot of tension in your back, your neck and shoulders that way. Not only is good posture necessary for reducing tension being built up in the body, it also has this subconscious effect where you feel more confident as you're playing, and also anyone observing you, you look more confident as you play to them too. Just observe if I play like this. Versus so the second time I even felt more confident as I played. So therefore I think it's a really good idea to start getting into this habit as you start to play. You do look more confident as you play as well. Now, although you want to maintain this lovely good posture and not allowing your backs to arch back, that doesn't mean that you don't have to be flexible in your playing. So a lot of the time it's actually your arms doing the work and your torso, and in turn even your hips. So as I move like this, I'm moving with my arms, everything is moving together. It's not just me rigidly thinking, hand move here, like it's not my hand doing the work, like I'm not feeling the tension here or the force being pulled. I'm actually feeling the force coming from my whole arm extending to reach the notes with ease. So that's also really important to be aware of. It's not just your hand doing the work, it's all of your body. Now the next point is about your fingers. When you're playing piano, you want to form a natural arch. That's really the most important point. And if you do this, just let your hand fall naturally. You'll notice that naturally it starts to form this arch itself. To do this actually requires a lot more work. You can even try it out yourself. So when you're playing, you want to keep that natural alignment in your hand as well. So start off really simply and just do a 5-finger scale and focus on keeping this arch as you play. your fingertips are basically making the contact with the keys. Also, for any girls out there with long fingers, you might want to trim them back. It's obviously not illegal, but like you're going to hear a lot of like if you're playing with long fingers, and also that's what's going to hit the keys rather than the actual tip of the finger. So you want to keep that position. In general, there are of course cases like if you're playing larger chords or if I'm doing octaves, like here my hand is a lot more spread out. So it's just that in general you want to be returning to this arch, but of course there are a few alternatives also if you're doing arpeggios. But also just noticing there, as I'm moving, it's my arm moving into the note rather than me rigidly being like and trying to stretch that way. So again, there's a lot of flexibility. Another thing that some students do just on this point of the arch is that they play with flat fingers like this. So you want to avoid that because again, it's just causing tension. If you're playing like that for a long time, you're going to start feeling tension being created in the upper arm and everywhere else. So again, keeping that arch in place. Another thing I notice students do, and I think it's when they're really concentrated on the note, so I completely understand why they do that, is when they're trying to not hit any of the other keys. So they're keeping all of their fingers up in the air as they hit down on one. And really, you don't have to do that. That can be a lot easier than that. You can leave your fingers floating on top of the keys. Mine are they're just sitting on top. They're not playing anything. They're just chilling as the other ones play. If that's difficult at the beginning, you may just want to do some easy finger techniques, really, really slowly, playing like 2 notes at a time. Moving on like this, maintaining the arch in the finger and just being very deliberate about the movements. So I know this may feel like a lot of different things to consider at once, but I promise if you start to incorporate all of these little things into your playing from the beginning, you're going to play with so much more ease, less tension, and therefore it's going to be a much more enjoyable process.